Imagine this. You've been waiting, praying, hoping for the right person to walk into your life, but nothing seems to align. The clock ticks and doubts creep in, but what if I told you that the right love, the love that truly matters, always comes at the right time? I'm here today to tell you this truth. You are not alone in your journey. The right love isn't just about meeting the right person. It's about being prepared, being open, and trusting that everything will align perfectly. You see, there is a perfect timing for everything in this life. And when love arrives, it is nothing short of divine. So let's take a moment, open our hearts, and recognize that the right love comes at the right time. Because sometimes it's not just about waiting, it's about growing, evolving, and trusting the process. Timing is divine. You see, there is something profoundly spiritual and powerful about the way the universe orchestrates our lives. We often find ourselves wondering why the right person hasn't come along yet. We question why we are still waiting, still longing, and still hoping for love to enter our lives in the way we dream of. But the truth is, there is a divine and perfect timing for everything, and the right love always comes when it's meant to, not a moment before, and certainly not a moment too late. The challenge is that we live in a world that tells us we should hurry. We're taught that time is of the essence, that every second counts, and that if we don't hurry up and make the most of our time, we'll miss out. But what if I told you that love doesn't operate according to the clock? What if the waiting, the longing, the seasons of feeling like your love life is in a standstill are all part of a divine plan designed to position you for something greater? We must learn to trust in this timing. And trust doesn't come easily, does it? It requires us to surrender the control we think we have over our own lives and to acknowledge that there is something bigger than us at work. We need to remember that the divine is not bound by the limitations of human time. We as individuals are bound by time. We wake up and go to sleep. We count the days and the months. We measure the years. But God, the Creator, exists outside of time. He knows the beginning from the end, and He knows exactly when you are ready to receive the love that is meant for you. The right love is not just a random occurrence. It is carefully timed. Just like everything else in life, there are moments in your journey where you will experience growth, healing, and transformation. These moments are not always easy, but they are essential. It's in these moments of growth and learning that you become the person who is ready for the love that is waiting for you. If you were to receive that love before you were ready, it would not have the depth or the strength to stand the test of time. That's why the right love comes when you are ready, when you have learned what you needed to learn, when you've healed from the scars of the past, and when your heart is open enough to truly give and receive love. But it's hard, isn't it? Waiting is hard. It's hard to be patient when all you want is to have that love in your life now. But I want to remind you today that patience in waiting is not a passive state. It's not about just sitting around and hoping for things to happen. It's about actively preparing yourself. It's about growing into the person who is capable of both giving and receiving the love you deserve. It's about trusting the process, trusting that the love you seek is also seeking you, and that in the right moment, at the right time, it will show up. You are not forgotten in your waiting. You are not overlooked in your longing. The universe, the Creator, sees you and knows your desires. He knows your heart. He knows the love you've given, and He knows the love you're ready to receive. Sometimes love doesn't come when you think it should because it's not the right time. But when it does come, when it enters your life, at the right moment, you will realize that every moment of waiting, every tear, every heartbreak, every lesson learned was worth it. So stop rushing, stop stressing, let go of the timelines you've set for yourself. Stop believing that you're running out of time because you're not. The right love will find you when it's supposed to, and when it does, it will feel like it was always meant to be. It will feel like the divine timing was perfect, as if the universe had aligned every star in your favor just for you. And when that love comes, you'll understand that it wasn't about the wait. It wasn't about the time you spent longing or the nights you spent wondering. It was about the preparation, the growth, and the trust you had in the process. It was about trusting that no matter how long it took, the right love would come at the right time. And when it does, you'll look back and see that everything, absolutely everything, happened exactly the way it was meant to. Preparation leads to recognition. We often wonder why we haven't found the right person or why the relationships we've had didn't work out the way we hoped. But the truth is, there is a deeper reason why the right love hasn't entered your life yet. It's not just about waiting. It's about becoming the person who is capable of recognizing and receiving that love when it arrives. See, love is not simply a matter of chance or fate. It's not just about meeting someone at the right time, although that's important. It's about you, the individual, being ready to embrace what the universe is offering you. This means you must be prepared to not only accept love, but to recognize it when it's right in front of you. Sometimes we're so busy searching for something specific or imagining a particular kind of love that we fail to see what is already being presented to us. How often do we overlook opportunities because they don't match our preconceived notions of what love should look like? We tend to imagine the perfect person as someone who fits a specific mold or satisfies certain requirements we've set in our minds. But the reality is that love doesn't come in the neat package we often envision. It comes in unexpected ways, from unexpected places, and sometimes from unexpected people. It's not always wrapped in the packaging of our desires, but in the beauty of what we truly need. In order to recognize love when it arrives, you must first be clear on who you are, what you stand for, and what you truly want. This clarity comes through preparation, through self-awareness, and through deep introspection. If you don't know who you are, you won't know what love should look like when it's presented to you. If you haven't taken the time to heal from past wounds, you may not be able to see the beauty and the love that is being offered because you're still caught up in the pain of the past. It's in the preparation phase of life that we become the best version of ourselves. We must work on developing a strong sense of self-worth, nurturing our emotional health, and aligning our actions with our values. When we do this, we make space for love to enter our lives. Think about it. How could you recognize the right love if you're not the right person for it? If you haven't done the work to understand yourself and what you truly need, how could you possibly know when the right person comes along? How would you know that they are what you've been searching for if you're not clear on what you need, what you value, and what you deserve? This process of preparation takes time and patience. It's a journey of personal growth and transformation. It's about healing from the wounds that may have caused you to settle in the past or prevented you from opening your heart fully to another person. It's about learning to love yourself first and foremost, because if you don't love yourself, you won't be able to fully give love to someone else. It's about knowing your worth, understanding that you are worthy of the very best, and never settling for anything less. Once you've done this inner work, once you've reached a place where you're at peace with who you are, only then will you be able to truly recognize the right love when it comes. It's like walking into a room full of strangers and being able to immediately recognize the face of a loved one because you know them, you understand them, and you can feel their presence. That's how love works. When you are prepared, when you are aligned with who you are meant to be, the right love will stand out to you. It will feel familiar, not in a sense of familiarity from your past, but in a sense of recognition, as if it's always been there waiting for you to see it. And don't be mistaken, recognizing love is not just about seeing it in others, it's also about recognizing it in yourself. You have to be able to see the love you deserve before you can truly recognize it in another. You have to believe that you are worthy of the kind of love that is coming your way. So often, people struggle to accept love because they don't believe they deserve it. They've been hurt, they've experienced disappointment, and they've been let down so many times that they begin to doubt their worth. But the right love, the love that is meant for you, cannot enter your life until you recognize your own value and accept that you deserve something wonderful, something life-changing, and something that will bring you peace. So understand this, preparation isn't just about working on yourself so you can be the right person for someone else. It's about being ready to recognize and embrace the love that comes into your life no matter how it presents itself. The love that is meant for you is already on its way. It is waiting for the moment when you are prepared, when you are ready to truly see it, and when you are open enough to receive it. Once you've done the work, once you've healed, once you've grown, love will find you. And when it does, you'll recognize it instantly because it will feel like everything you've ever wanted and more. It will be a love that aligns with who you are, who you've become, and who you're meant to be. And that love will be exactly what you need at exactly the right time. Growth is key. It's so easy to get caught up in the desire for love, to look at the relationships around us and feel like we're missing something, like there's a part of us that's incomplete. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that love is the missing piece to the puzzle of our lives. But here's the truth. Love doesn't complete us. It complements us. It doesn't fill a void, but rather it amplifies what we already have inside of us. And before you can experience this kind of love, before you can truly receive the right love, you must first go through the process of growth. When we talk about growth, we're not talking about growth in the superficial sense. It's not about changing the way we look or acquiring things that make us feel more worthy. No, this growth is deep. It's personal. It's spiritual. It's about evolving into the person you need to be in order to not only recognize, but also fully appreciate the love that's waiting for you. Many of us go through life thinking that love is about finding the right person, as if love is a destination we reach when we meet someone who checks all the boxes. But love isn't a destination, it's a journey that begins within ourselves. The right love comes when you've done the work to grow into a better version of yourself. Growth in this sense means growing in character, growing in wisdom, and growing in emotional strength. It means letting go of the things that have held you back, the old hurts, the toxic relationships, the limiting beliefs you've held on to for too long. It means shedding the skin of your past, the parts of yourself that were shaped by pain or fear, and allowing yourself to emerge as a stronger, more confident, more complete person. Only when you've gone through this process of growth will you be able to fully embrace love when it arrives. Growth means learning how to set boundaries, to protect your peace, and to honor your own needs. It means learning to say no to things and people that are not in alignment with who you are becoming. Growth means learning to trust yourself, to recognize your own value, and to stand firm in the knowledge that you deserve only the best. It's about raising your standards, not just in what you expect from others, but in what you expect from yourself. And don't make the mistake of thinking that growth is something that happens quickly or easily. Growth is a lifelong journey, a continual process of becoming. There are setbacks along the way, and sometimes the road feels long and uncertain. But in every setback, there is a lesson. In every struggle, there is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. The challenges you face are not obstacles, they are opportunities to build the resilience and strength that will allow you to fully experience the right love when it comes. It's important to understand that growth is not something that happens in isolation. It's not just about you working on yourself in a vacuum. Growth happens through connection with others, with experiences, with the world around you. We grow through our relationships, through the lessons we learn, and through the ways in which we interact with those around us. Even the most painful experiences contribute to our growth because they teach us lessons about who we are, what we need, and what we truly deserve. As you grow, you begin to realize that love isn't just about having someone to share your life with. It's about creating a life that is already full, already rich, and already complete. When you've done the inner work, when you've healed from past wounds and built up your sense of self-worth, Love no longer feels like something you need to complete you. Instead, love becomes an added blessing, a beautiful enhancement to an already fulfilling life. The right love doesn't take away from you, it adds to you. It amplifies the joy and peace you've already found within yourself. The process of growth also means that you must be willing to let go of the version of love that you may have once believed in. We often carry around these idealized notions of love. Love that is perfect, love that is free from pain, love that is without conflict. But love in reality is far from perfect. The right love, the kind that will stand the test of time, is the love that is built on understanding, trust, and mutual respect. It's the kind of love that thrives even in the midst of challenges because both individuals have grown enough to weather the storms together. In growth, we also learn to love ourselves first. Self-love is the foundation on which all other love is built. If you cannot love and accept yourself, flaws and all, how can you expect someone else to love you fully? Growth means recognizing your own worth and taking the steps to care for yourself, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It means creating a life that feels rich and fulfilling on its own, without the need for someone else to complete it. When you love yourself, when you know your worth and value, you create the conditions for the right love to enter your life. The right love will meet you where you are, and it will help you continue to grow, evolve, and flourish. Growth also means learning to let go of the fear of being alone. So many of us fear loneliness, so much so that we may settle for love that isn't right, just to avoid being alone. But true growth happens when you're comfortable in your own company, when you've learned to be happy on your own, when you've found peace in solitude. That's when you're truly ready to welcome the right love into your life. The right love doesn't come from a place of desperation or fear. It comes from a place of strength and peace. When you've done the work of growing, healing, and learning to love yourself, the right love will come. It will come at the right time when you are ready to receive it, but until then, trust the process. Embrace the growth. Allow yourself to become the best version of yourself. And know that the right love will find you when you are truly ready to recognize it, when you are ready to embrace it, and when you are ready to share it with another person who has also done their own work and is ready to love you in return. Growth is key to everything. Without it, love remains elusive. But with it, love becomes a beautiful, natural extension of the person you've worked so hard to be. Patience is not just a virtue, it is a key to unlocking the doors to the love we desire. The concept of patience is often misunderstood. In a world that values instant gratification, the idea of waiting can seem like a burden. We've been conditioned to expect quick results, to want things to happen immediately. We order food with the tap of a button, receive messages within seconds, and get information in an instant. But love doesn't work on the same timeline as our fast-paced world. Patience is essential because the right love takes time. It is cultivated, nurtured, and built on a foundation of trust and understanding. It doesn't happen overnight, and that's exactly how it should be. Patience means waiting without giving up hope, even when everything around you seems to suggest that love is far out of reach. It means resisting the urge to settle for less, to take the first thing that comes along simply because you're tired of waiting. So many people find themselves in relationships that aren't right for them because they didn't have the patience to wait for the love that they truly deserve. They chose convenience over commitment, comfort over growth, and instant relief over lasting fulfillment. But true love doesn't come from rushing. It doesn't come from choosing someone out of desperation. It comes from waiting for the right person at the right time under the right circumstances. Patience also involves trusting that there is a reason for the delay. Sometimes the love you seek is not being withheld from you. It is simply being prepared for you. It's easy to look at others and feel like they've found love, or to feel as though you're being passed over. But in reality, the love that is meant for you is still being nurtured, still being shaped, and still being prepared so that when it enters your life, it will be everything you need. The waiting period is not a punishment. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a time for you to grow, to heal, and to become the person who is ready for the love that is coming. In times of waiting, we are often forced to face our deepest fears, the fear of being alone, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of not being good enough. These fears can feel overwhelming, and they can make us question whether we will ever find the love we desire. But patience requires us to confront those fears and learn to live with them without letting them control our lives. You see, patience is not the absence of fear. It's the courage to move forward despite it. It's the ability to hold on to the belief that love will come even when the waiting seems unbearable. During this waiting period, you are given the opportunity to do the most important work of all: work on yourself. The right love can't find you if you're not ready to receive it. So use this time to focus on your personal growth. Heal from the past, let go of old wounds, and learn to love yourself completely. Embrace the journey of self-discovery and understand that you are worthy of the love you seek. When you're patient with yourself, when you give yourself the grace to grow, you become a magnet for the kind of love that will change your life. The waiting is not wasted when you're using it to become a better version of yourself. But patience also means learning to let go of the timeline. So often, we impose deadlines on our lives. We decide that by a certain age, we should be married, have children, or found our soulmate. We create these timelines based on what society tells us or what we think our life should look like. But the truth is, love doesn't follow our schedule. It doesn't arrive when we think it should. Instead, love comes when we are ready, when we have done the work, when we have grown into the person who is capable of receiving it. Let go of the idea that love has to come within a certain time frame. Trust that when the time is right, the love you seek will come. Another crucial part of patience is learning how to handle the ups and downs of the journey. There will be moments when the waiting feels unbearable, when it seems like everyone else has found their person, and you are left wondering why it's taking so long for love to come to you. But patience requires endurance. It requires you to hold on to your faith, even when everything around you seems uncertain. It requires you to keep believing, even when the world seems to be moving faster than you are. Love will come, but it will come when you least expect it, and it will come in a way that you never imagined. Patience also means learning to trust that you are not being overlooked. There are times when you may feel like you are invisible, like love is something that happens to everyone else, but never to you. You may question why others are finding happiness while you are left behind. But understand this, your time is coming. The love that is meant for you is on its way, and it will find you at the exact moment when you are ready for it. Just because it hasn't come yet doesn't mean it won't. Trust that it is being prepared for you just as you are being prepared for it. You are not forgotten. You are not being passed over. You are simply in a season of preparation, a season of patience. The beauty of patience is that it allows us to appreciate love when it finally arrives. If you rushed into love, if you settled for something less than what you truly deserved, you would miss the fullness of what real love has to offer. Patience gives you the opportunity to truly recognize the value of the love that comes into your life. When you've waited for the right person, when you've gone through the process of growth and healing, you will be able to appreciate the love that finds you in a way that you never could have before. You will know its worth because you've learned to wait for it, to value it, and to recognize it when it finally arrives. In the end, patience teaches us the art of trusting the timing of our lives. It reminds us that love is not something to be rushed or forced, but something to be nurtured and grown. The right love will come at the right time. It will come when you are ready for it, when you have done the work, when you have grown into the person you need to be to embrace it fully. So don't rush the process. Don't settle for less than what you deserve. Trust the journey, trust the timing, and most importantly, trust that the right love is coming to you exactly when it's supposed to. Understanding your worth is perhaps the most crucial step in preparing yourself for the right love. Many of us go through life with an unclear sense of our value. We allow the opinions of others, the mistakes of our past, or the failures of our relationships to define who we are. We may think that love is something we have to earn, or that it's something we can only receive if we prove ourselves worthy of it. But the truth is, your worth is inherent. It's not something that needs to be earned, and it's certainly not something that should ever be dictated by external forces. When you understand your worth, you begin to see yourself as valuable, as deserving of the love you desire. You stop settling for less than what you truly deserve. You stop accepting the bare minimum and begin to raise your standards. Understanding your worth means that you know you are worthy of deep, unconditional love, and you won't settle for anything less. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are, and that no one can define your value except for you. In order to truly understand your worth, you must first do the work to heal. The wounds from past relationships, from experiences that have hurt you, need to be addressed. Too often, we carry these emotional scars with us, allowing them to shape our self-worth in ways that are damaging. These scars can make us believe that we're not good enough or that we're unworthy of love. But healing is possible. It requires you to confront the pain, to process it, and to let it go. You cannot move forward into a healthy relationship until you have healed from the wounds of your past. Healing is not a linear process. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and it requires patience with yourself. There will be moments when you feel like you're not making progress, when the pain from the past resurfaces, and when it seems like you're stuck. But every step you take in the healing process is a step closer to understanding your worth. As you heal, you release the past and make space for the future, for the love that is coming. Healing allows you to reclaim your sense of self, to understand that your worth is not defined by the mistakes you've made or the relationships that didn't work out. It is defined by who you are at your core, a unique, valuable, and worthy person who deserves to be loved deeply and fully. When you understand your worth, you also understand the importance of self-respect. Self-respect is the foundation of healthy relationships. It means honoring your boundaries, standing up for yourself, and refusing to tolerate behavior that disrespects you or diminishes your value. Self-respect means saying no when something doesn't align with your values, and saying yes to things that nourish your soul and uplift you. When you respect yourself, you set the standard for how others should treat you. You don't allow anyone to take you for granted or to devalue your worth. Instead, you create relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and love. Part of understanding your worth also involves letting go of the fear of being alone. So many people fear loneliness, and in that fear, they settle for relationships that aren't right for them. They tolerate mistreatment, they ignore red flags, and they stay in situations that drain them emotionally, all because they are afraid of being alone. But the truth is, being alone doesn't mean being incomplete. You are already whole. You don't need another person to validate your worth. When you truly understand your worth, you realize that being alone doesn't diminish you. It empowers you. You have the power to create your own happiness, to build a life that is fulfilling on your own. When you are content in your own company, you're in a position to attract the right love. Love that adds to your life, not fills a void. Understanding your worth also means recognizing that you deserve a love that is unconditional and authentic. Too often we enter relationships hoping to change or fix someone, or we stay in relationships that are unhealthy because we believe we can make the other person love us in the way we want to be loved. But when you understand your worth, you know that love isn't something you should have to work for or manipulate. Love should come freely, without conditions, without games, without expectations. You deserve someone who loves you for who you are, not for what you can give them. You deserve someone who values you, respects you, and appreciates you in the same way that you value, respect, and appreciate yourself. And when you understand your worth, you stop chasing after love. You stop seeking validation from others, and instead, you focus on nurturing the love that already exists within you. Self-love is the key to attracting the right love. When you love yourself, when you understand your own worth, you become magnetic to the kind of love that reflects that. You stop settling for relationships where you feel unseen, unappreciated, or instead you create a space for the right person to come into your life. A person who sees your worth and wants to share their love with you because they recognize the value you bring to the relationship. Understanding your worth also means giving yourself permission to take your time. You don't have to rush into love. You don't have to settle for someone who isn't right for you just to avoid the discomfort of being alone or to fit into a certain timeline. The right love will come when you are ready, and when it does, it will feel natural, it will feel effortless, and it will feel right. Until then, you are worthy of taking your time to find a love that is aligned with who you are and what you need. You are worthy of waiting for the kind of love that nurtures and uplifts you, that supports your growth, and helps you become the best version of yourself. When you truly understand your worth, you begin to approach love from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You realize that love is not a limited resource, and there is no need to settle for less than what you truly deserve. There is enough love to go around, and when the time is right, the right person will come into your life. Until then, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, on continuing your journey of growth, healing, and self-discovery. You focus on building a life that is fulfilling and meaningful, knowing that love will find its way to you when the time is right. Finally, understanding your worth means recognizing that you are not defined by your relationship status. You are not incomplete because you are single, and you are not more valuable because you are in a relationship. Your worth is inherent in who you are, not in who you're with. When you understand this, you free yourself from the pressure of having to be in a relationship to feel fulfilled. You allow yourself to be whole, to be content, and to be at peace, knowing that love will come when you are ready for it. You will know it when it does, because it will align with your worth, your values, and your vision for the life you want to build. Understanding your worth is the foundation for everything, and it is the key to attracting the kind of love that will transform your life. The importance of timing in love cannot be overstated. Timing isn't just about when the right love enters your life. It's about when you as an individual are ready for it. We often think of love as something that should happen immediately, something that should simply fall into our laps at the perfect moment. But the reality is that the right love comes when the universe knows you're ready for it, when you've done the necessary work to prepare yourself emotionally and mentally to receive and give love in its purest form. One of the challenges we face in understanding the importance of timing and love is our own impatience. In a world where everything is fast-paced, where relationships are rushed, expectations are high, and instant gratification is the norm, it can feel like love should come on demand. But love is not something that can be rushed. It's a process, a journey that requires you to grow, to heal, and to learn about yourself before you can truly be ready to share your life with another person. Timing in love involves more than just meeting someone at the right time. It involves being the right person at the right time. How often do we rush into relationships because we're caught up in the idea of love, only to realize that we were not prepared for the challenges that come with it? Sometimes we enter relationships too soon when we're not fully healed or when we haven't done the inner work needed to build a healthy partnership. This results in heartbreak, confusion, and sometimes regret. However, when we trust the timing of our lives, when we allow ourselves the space to grow and evolve before jumping into a relationship, we are preparing ourselves for the love that is meant for us. There is also an element of divine timing at play in the search for love. We may spend years looking for the perfect person only to discover that love arrives when we least expect it. The right love often comes at a time when we've stopped looking for it, when we've let go of the desperation and simply focused on living our lives, when we stop trying to control the timing of love, when we stop trying to force things to happen. We open ourselves up to the possibility that love may be right around the corner, waiting for the moment when we're ready to receive it. This is where patience plays a significant role. While we may feel that love should come at a certain point in our lives, we have to trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Timing is not always something we can control, and sometimes we may feel like we're missing out or that love is eluding us, but it's important to understand that love is not something you can force or demand. It comes when it's meant to. And the truth is that the timing of love is often perfect. It's perfect because it comes at the moment when we are fully aligned with ourselves, when we've grown, healed, and become the person we need to be in order to fully embrace love. In some cases, the timing of love involves the merging of two different paths. We may meet someone who is on a different trajectory than we are, and while it may seem like the timing isn't right, it's important to remember that love has its own sense of time. Sometimes we need to go through different experiences, live different lives, and face different challenges before we are truly ready for the person who will be our partner. Love doesn't just involve finding the right person. It involves both individuals being ready for the relationship. Sometimes both people need to go through their own journey of growth before they can come together in a healthy and fulfilling partnership. The beauty of timing is that it teaches us to trust the journey. We may not always understand why things are happening the way they are, and we may question why certain relationships didn't work out. But each experience is a part of the process that is preparing us for the right love. Every heartbreak, every challenge, and every delay is shaping us into the person who is capable of receiving the love we deserve. The right love comes at the perfect moment when we are the person we need to be and when the universe knows we are ready for it. Trusting the timing of love also involves letting go of comparisons. It's easy to look at others and think that they have it all figured out, that they've found their love while you're still waiting. But comparing your journey to someone else's only causes frustration and doubt. The truth is, everyone's journey is different. Your path to love is unique to you, and the timing of that love will be different for everyone. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start trusting your own journey, you can embrace the timing of your life without regret or envy. You can focus on your own growth, on becoming the best version of yourself, and know that when the time is right, love will come. It's important to remember that love doesn't have to be rushed to be meaningful. Too often, we feel the pressure to find love by a certain age or at a certain point in our lives. Society places expectations on us, and we internalize those expectations, believing that we should be in a relationship by a certain time. But the right love doesn't adhere to societal timelines. The right love comes when you are truly ready to receive it, when you have built a strong foundation within yourself, and when you've cultivated the qualities that will allow the relationship to thrive. The timing of love is not about a calendar or a deadline. It's about the right moment, the right energy, and the right alignment between two people. Love in its most pure and powerful form is not something that can be rushed. It's a process. And the timing of that process is key. Understanding that love comes at the right time when you're ready, when the person you're meant to be with is ready, and when the stars align, allows you to embrace the journey without fear or anxiety. The right love will not come early, and it will not come too late. It will come when it's meant to, and it will be everything you need because it's arrived at the perfect time in your life. When you trust the timing of love, you release the need to force things or to rush into relationships. You stop questioning whether or not you'll ever find love, and you start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. You learn to appreciate the process of waiting, knowing that every moment is leading you to the love that is right for you. The right love comes when it's meant to, and it comes with a timing that is far greater than anything we could ever orchestrate ourselves. Trust the timing, trust the process, and trust that when love comes, it will be everything you've been waiting for. When we talk about overcoming past pain in love, it's important to understand that the healing process is not just about forgetting what hurt us. It's about facing the wounds head on and allowing ourselves to truly process the emotions, the heartbreak, and the lessons that came from those experiences. Pain in love is inevitable. It's part of the human experience. Every person who has ever loved deeply has also known the sting of loss, betrayal, or heartbreak. But these experiences don't have to define us. They can become the very thing that propels us forward, that strengthens us, and that makes us capable of the love we seek. The problem comes when we allow that pain to shape us in negative ways, to turn us into people who are afraid to love again, who are afraid to trust or be vulnerable. Overcoming past pain requires us to confront the emotions that we often bury. So many of us walk around with unresolved hurt, stuffing it down because we think it's easier to ignore it than to face it. But ignoring the pain doesn't make it go away. It only festers, hiding beneath the surface, affecting every area of our lives, including our relationships. In order to heal, we must first acknowledge the pain and give ourselves permission to feel it fully. We have to be willing to sit with our discomfort, to cry, to grieve, and to allow ourselves the space to process everything that we've been through. It's only through this process that we can begin to release the hold that past pain has on us. Healing from pain doesn't mean that we forget the people or the experiences that caused us harm. It doesn't mean that we erase the memories or the lessons that those experiences taught us. Rather, it means that we choose to let go of the negative emotions that keep us stuck in the past. We choose to forgive, first and foremost, ourselves. Too often, we blame ourselves for things that were beyond our control. We internalize the hurt, telling ourselves that we were somehow at fault, or that we didn't deserve better. But forgiveness is the key to moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean that we condone what happened or that we forget the pain. It simply means that we choose to release the hold that the past has on us. Forgiving ourselves allows us to free up emotional space, to stop carrying the burden of guilt or shame, and to make room for new experiences, including new love. Letting go of past pain is also about reframing our perspective. Instead of viewing our past relationships as failures, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. Every relationship teaches us something, whether it's about what we need, what we don't want, or what we have to offer. When we can shift our perspective and look at the lessons we've learned, we can begin to view our past experiences as stepping stones on the path to finding the right love. We may have been hurt, but we can also recognize that those experiences have shaped us into stronger, wiser individuals. They have given us clarity about the kind of love we want and need in our lives. Part of overcoming past pain is also about rebuilding trust in ourselves and in others. After being hurt, it's easy to become jaded and to develop a fear of trusting again. We might start to believe that all relationships will end in pain, or that love is something we cannot fully rely on. But in order to move forward, we must be willing to trust again. Not just others. We need to trust that we are capable of making better choices, that we are capable of recognizing red flags, and that we have the strength to walk away from anything that no longer serves us. Rebuilding trust is a gradual process, but it begins with trusting that we have learned from our past and that we are now more equipped to navigate future relationships. Overcoming past pain also requires us to stop holding on to unrealistic expectations. When we've been hurt in the past, we may start to build walls around our hearts, thinking that we can protect ourselves from further pain. These walls, however, often prevent us from fully experiencing love. We may find ourselves holding others to impossible standards, expecting them to be perfect or to heal the wounds we carry. But no one is perfect. And no one can fix the pain we've experienced except ourselves. The right love won't come from someone who can make our pain disappear. It will come from someone who can love us despite our imperfections and help us continue to heal. As we heal, we also need to learn how to trust love itself again. Love can be difficult to trust after we've been hurt. We may wonder if true love really exists, or if it's just something we've been told about in books or movies. But healing requires us to trust in the possibility of love. Real, unconditional, and transformative love. This trust doesn't come overnight, and it's not something that can be forced. It comes when we allow ourselves to be open to love again, when we stop viewing it as something to fear and instead see it as something to be embraced. The more we trust in love, the more we open ourselves up to receiving it in its purest form. Healing from past pain also involves letting go of the need for closure. Sometimes we never get the answers we need from the people who hurt us. We may never receive the apology or the explanation that we feel we deserve. But the truth is, we don't need closure from others in order to heal. We can create our own closure by choosing to release the hold that the past has on us. We can let go of the need to understand every detail, every action, and every decision. Instead, we choose to move forward with grace and acceptance, knowing that we are worthy of love regardless of how things ended in the past. It's also important to understand that healing is not linear. There will be days when we feel like we've made great strides. Other days when the pain resurfaces and we feel as though we're starting over. This is normal. Healing is a process, and it doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be setbacks, there will be moments of doubt, but the key is to keep moving forward. Even when the pain comes back, we must remind ourselves that we are stronger now, that we have the tools to handle it, and that we are moving closer to the love we deserve. Finally, healing from past pain and love is about reclaiming our power. It's about recognizing that we are not victims of our past, but survivors. We are not defined by the pain we've experienced, but by how we rise from it. We are capable of loving again, of trusting again, and of experiencing the fullness of love without the weight of past hurt holding us back. When we let go of the pain, we create space for joy, for peace, and for the right love to enter our lives. We are worthy of healing, and we are worthy of the love that is waiting for us. The journey to healing may be long, but it is always worth it because it leads us to the love that is meant for us. Love that is healthy, whole, and transformative. When we talk about embracing vulnerability in love, it's important to understand that vulnerability is not a weakness, as many may perceive it. Vulnerability is actually a strength. It is the courage to show up authentically, to expose your true self to another person, and to risk being hurt in the process. It's about letting go of the walls we've built around our hearts and allowing someone else to see us as we truly are, flaws and all. So many of us are afraid of being vulnerable because we fear rejection, criticism, or emotional pain. But the truth is, vulnerability is the gateway to deep and meaningful connections. Without it, love cannot truly flourish. At its core, vulnerability is about trust. Trusting not only the person you're opening up to, but also trusting yourself. It's about believing that no matter what happens, you are worthy of love and that the love you are offering is valuable. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are essentially saying, I trust you with my heart. This can be terrifying, especially if we've been hurt in the past. However, it's crucial to realize that vulnerability is not a guarantee of pain or disappointment. On the contrary, it is the very thing that allows love to deepen and flourish. It is the moment when we allow someone else to truly see us and when we allow ourselves to fully experience the beauty of love. Embracing vulnerability in love means letting go of the fear of being judged. So often we hide parts of ourselves because we think that if someone sees our weaknesses or imperfections, they will not love us. But love is not about perfection. It is about accepting one another, flaws and all. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are giving the other person permission to do the same. We create a safe space where both individuals can share their fears, dreams, insecurities, and hopes without fear of rejection. This is where true intimacy begins, when both people can be completely open and honest with each other without the need to put on a facade or hide behind a mask. For many, vulnerability requires a shift in mindset. It requires letting go of the need to control everything, of being constantly on guard, and of expecting the worst. It's about learning to surrender, to trust the process of love without holding on to expectations of how things should be. When we are vulnerable, we stop trying to protect ourselves from potential hurt. And instead, we give ourselves the freedom to love fully. This doesn't mean being careless with our hearts or ignoring red flags, but it does mean being open to the possibility of true connection, even if there's a risk involved. The truth is that vulnerability in love often feels uncomfortable. It's not easy to expose your innermost thoughts and feelings, especially if you've been hurt before. But it's in that discomfort where growth happens. Vulnerability pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us to be brave. It's about taking the risk of loving deeply, of allowing ourselves to be seen for who we really are. It's about embracing the uncertainty of the unknown and trusting that even if things don't work out the way we hope, we will still be okay. Vulnerability in love requires a level of self-assurance and self-compassion, because you have to be at peace with who you are before you can share that with another person. One of the greatest benefits of embracing vulnerability in love is the depth of connection that it creates. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite the other person into our world. We let them see our struggles, our strengths, our hopes, and our fears. This creates a bond that is far more meaningful than any surface-level interaction. It allows for deeper conversations, greater understanding, and a sense of closeness that can't be achieved when we're holding back. Vulnerability is the key to emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy is the foundation of a lasting relationship. It's through sharing our most authentic selves that we can truly connect with another person and build a relationship that is built on trust, mutual respect, and love. But being vulnerable is not just about sharing our deepest emotions and experiences. It's also about being open to receiving love. So often we are afraid to let others in because we feel unworthy or we're scared of being hurt. But in order to truly experience love, we must also be willing to accept it. This means allowing ourselves to receive kindness, affection, and support without questioning it or feeling like we don't deserve it. Vulnerability in love is not just about opening up to someone else, it's also about allowing ourselves to be loved fully and without reservation. When we are open to receiving love, we create an environment where both partners can give and receive freely without fear or shame. When we choose to be vulnerable, we are also choosing to be honest. Honesty is an integral part of vulnerability. Without honesty, there can be no real connection. Being honest with your partner means sharing your thoughts, feelings, and desires, even if they are difficult or uncomfortable. It means being transparent about your past, your fears, your needs, and your dreams. It's about showing up in the relationship with authenticity, even when it's hard. And when both partners are honest with one another, it fosters an environment of trust and respect, which is essential for a healthy, loving relationship. At times, vulnerability can also mean being honest with yourself. It means acknowledging your own insecurities, fears, and desires, and accepting them as part of who you are. This self-awareness is key to emotional growth and building healthier relationships. The more we understand ourselves, the more we can understand what we need in a partner and what we have to offer. Vulnerability in love is not just about being open with others. It's also about being open with ourselves. We can't fully share ourselves with someone else until we first understand who we are and what we need. One of the hardest aspects of vulnerability is the fear of being hurt again. Many people resist being vulnerable because they are afraid of experiencing the same pain they've felt in previous relationships. However, this fear often prevents us from fully experiencing love in its purest form. Vulnerability requires trust, and trust can only be built through taking risks. While there is no guarantee that being vulnerable won't lead to hurt, there is also no guarantee that keeping your walls up will protect you from pain. In fact, holding back from love often leads to a different kind of hurt: loneliness, emotional numbness, and a lack of connection. Vulnerability, on the other hand, allows us to experience love in all its forms, with all of its risks and rewards. When we embrace vulnerability and love, we also become more compassionate, both toward ourselves and others. Being vulnerable means accepting that we are imperfect and that imperfection is okay. It means letting go of the need to be perfect or to have everything figured out. It's about allowing ourselves to be human and giving others the grace to do the same. When we embrace vulnerability, we create a space for authenticity, for connection, and for deep, transformative love. And it's in this space where we are free to be ourselves that true love can flourish. In conclusion, vulnerability is the key to experiencing the depth and beauty of love. It requires courage, trust, and a willingness to be open to both joy and pain. But it is in this openness that love can grow and thrive. When we embrace vulnerability, we allow ourselves to be seen, to be loved, and to love in return. It is only through vulnerability that we can form deep connections, build lasting relationships, and experience the fullness of love. And while vulnerability may be uncomfortable at times, it is always worth it because it opens the door to the kind of love that can transform our lives. When we talk about recognizing when the right love has arrived, it's important to understand that this moment is often subtle. It's not a grand declaration or an overwhelming feeling of certainty. Instead, it's a quiet knowing deep inside us, a feeling that tells us that this love is different, that it has arrived at the right time, and that it is meant for us. So many of us spend years searching for the perfect person, wondering if we'll ever find someone who truly understands us, someone who will love us in the way we desire to be loved. But the right love doesn't come when we expect it to. It comes when we're ready to receive it. Often it's not about looking for love at all, but rather about creating the conditions within ourselves to recognize and accept love when it arrives. The right love often comes when we least expect it. After years of heartache, disappointment, and longing, we may find ourselves in a place where we've given up on finding the right person. We might have experienced so many failed relationships, or we may have been hurt so deeply in the past that we've resigned ourselves to the belief that love just isn't in the cards for us. But then, out of nowhere, love appears. It might not be in the package we imagined or with the person we envisioned, but it's exactly what we need. This is the paradox of love. It often shows up at the moment when we've stopped searching, when we finally let go of our expectations and surrendered to the idea that the right love will come at the right time. And when it does, we'll know it. It will feel natural, comfortable, and easy, even though it might come with its own set of challenges. This is because the right love is not about perfection. It's about the compatibility of two souls who are ready to grow together. In many cases, the right love comes after we've gone through a period of self-discovery and healing. We spend so much of our lives searching for someone to fill the empty spaces within us, to fix the broken parts of ourselves. But the truth is, no one can fix us but ourselves. We are the ones who need to heal, to become whole, and understand who we truly are before we can invite someone else into our lives. The right love doesn't come when we're still holding on to past pain, unresolved issues, or old emotional baggage. It comes when we've done the inner work, when we've healed from past wounds, learned to love ourselves, and are comfortable in our own skin. The right love finds us when we are finally in a place of inner peace, when we are no longer seeking validation from others, but are instead comfortable with who we are. One of the key signs that the right love has arrived is a sense of ease and peace. Love should not feel like a constant struggle or a never-ending battle. Yes, every relationship will have its challenges, but true love, the right love, should bring a sense of calm and reassurance. It should feel like coming home to yourself, like you've finally found someone who truly understands you, someone who accepts you for who you are without trying to change you. The right love does not demand that you become someone else or fit into a mold. Instead, it allows you to be your true self, flaws and all. It's in this space of acceptance that we can fully let go and allow ourselves to be loved in the most authentic way possible. When the right love arrives, it often feels like the perfect timing. It may not be what we expected, and it may not be the person we had in mind, but it's exactly what we need at that point in our lives. Often we think that love has to happen according to our own timeline. We set a certain age or milestone in our minds, and we measure our worth by when we achieve that goal. But love doesn't work on a timetable. It arrives when the time is right, and sometimes the right love comes after we've given up on finding it, after we've stopped trying to control when and how it happens. But when we stop forcing it, we make room for the love that is meant to find us. The right love also challenges us in ways that help us grow. It doesn't allow us to stay stagnant or complacent. Instead, it pushes us to become better versions of ourselves. This is not about changing who we are for the other person, but about growing together as individuals within the context of a relationship. The right love encourages us to step out of our comfort zones, to be more vulnerable, to confront our fears and insecurities, and to embrace new experiences. It's through these challenges that we learn, evolve, and become more aligned with the person we are meant to be. This kind of growth can only happen in a relationship that is built on trust, respect, and mutual support, the foundation of the right love. Another important sign that the right love has arrived is that it feels like a partnership rather than a competition. In many relationships, we get caught up in trying to outdo one another or win each other's approval. But in the right love, there is no competition. There's only collaboration and mutual respect. It's about working together to build something stronger, to support one another through challenges, and to celebrate each other's successes. The right love is about being each other's biggest cheerleaders, knowing that both partners are equally invested in each other's happiness and growth. It's a partnership that honors both individuals as unique and valuable, and it creates a sense of balance and harmony. The right love also brings clarity to our lives. When the right person comes into our lives, they don't bring confusion or uncertainty. They don't leave us wondering where we stand or questioning their intentions. Instead, the right love feels clear and steady. It's not about playing games or trying to figure out where we stand. It's about knowing that we are valued and appreciated for who we are. The right love helps us gain clarity about what we want in a relationship and what we need in a partner. It helps us understand ourselves better and makes us more confident in our ability to choose the right person for us. One of the most powerful aspects of the right love is that it inspires us to be the best version of ourselves. When we are loved in the right way, it motivates us to take better care of ourselves, to pursue our goals and dreams, and to become the person we've always wanted to be. The right love doesn't hold us back or make us feel small. It lifts us up and encourages us to grow. It reminds us that we are capable of achieving great things and that we are worthy of success and happiness. With the right love, we no longer feel the need to settle or compromise on our values. Instead, we embrace our true selves and allow our light to shine. As we recognize the arrival of the right love, we also understand that it doesn't mean that everything will be perfect. There will still be challenges, disagreements, and difficult moments. But these moments will not define the relationship. The right love is resilient. It's able to weather the storms because it's built on a foundation of trust, respect, and commitment. The right love doesn't run away when things get hard. It faces challenges head on, knowing that the bond between the two people is strong enough to overcome anything. And even in the most difficult times, the right love brings comfort and reassurance, knowing that both partners are in it together, committed to growing alongside each other. In the end, recognizing when the right love has arrived is about understanding that love is not something we chase or force. It's something that comes when we are ready to receive it, when we have healed from our past wounds, when we are comfortable with who we are, and when we are open to the possibility of true unconditional love. The right love arrives when we least expect it, but it always arrives at the right time. And when it does, it transforms us in ways we never imagined, showing us that love in its purest form is not about finding someone to complete us, but about finding someone who complements us and supports us in our journey to become the best version of ourselves.